What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the major sports leagues, whether it be games, tier lists, anything. We're here for it. NHL, MLB, NBA. I'm Jake. That's Nick. And then today, for our NHL segment, where else do we start besides the Stanley Cup Finals? Game 3 happened last night. Florida. Now Edmonton's backs are against the wall. If you're Edmonton, I guess you feel a little bit more confident since an NHL team has come back from 3-0 compared to NBA where it's never happened. So maybe you're a little bit more confident than the Mavericks. But boy, Nick, I think you were trying to do that reverse text on me last night again when you were calling it's looking ugly. But then that rally happens. What were your thoughts on this game?
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I was not trying to do the reverse, psychology reverse, whatever you want to call it, because I believe I texted you when it was 4-1. So at that point, I kind of knew the game was wraps, and Edmonton ended up pushing, making a late push. For the last 5 minutes, they just were constantly keeping the puck in the zone, getting good looks, and I was like, oh shit, they might actually tie this game. But per usual, Bobrovsky just shuts it down late in the end. Florida's defense
stays. Couple assists.
What's up?
Well, you're one of your keys was McDavid having a good game. He got a couple points. Wasn't able to get that goal, but that was the best push I saw from Edmonton all series. They were finally able to break through, playing with that desperation, because they didn't come out playing with that desperation like I thought they would. A home team down 0-2 going back home.
No, I agree.
What are your thoughts on that?
There's just I can't really say much else. I'm not an actual diehard fan of the Oilers. I just wanted to see McDavid get a cup, but it's looking like that's wrapped up this year. Maybe they'll split like you predicted, and then Florida will win it back at home. But I don't even know if that's going to happen because it happened yet again. Same thing that happened in Game 1 just happened last night, where Edmonton outshoots Florida, is keeping the puck in this. They had a lot more offensive zone time than Florida, and yet they still cannot seem to come out on the other end of the stick. They're just constantly getting down by 2 or 3 goals. And I don't know if that's goaltending. I don't know if that's just Florida just has disgusting shooters who are constantly beating Skinner. But
could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, no. You got to tip your cap to a top tier team. So
yeah,
I'm not going to throw excuses around and say, Skinner stinks, Florida's not good, and they would be, the series would be different without this goaltender. Florida got here for a reason, and their goaltender is unbelievable. And I think
Bobrovsky's a real thing.
I think he's pushing for a Hall of Fame case after this playoff, because I think he's going to win the MVP of the playoffs, and he's a Vezina finalist, and this will be his first cup. So I think he's really pushing for a Hall of Fame case after this year.
Yeah, it could very well be the case. But yeah, going back, Edmonton, where they've gone wrong, maybe some people could blame Skinner, but McDavid showed up tonight. But Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, the players that were so crucial for them this whole postseason run have kind of fallen flat in the Stanley Cup Finals. And Florida has just been the tougher team. How many times have we seen Barkov, Reinhart, Tkachuk, Verhaeghe, all of them up on this score sheet, and Bobrovsky just because of his insane save percentage? They're superstars that played at a superstar level, and Edmonton's superstar or star players just haven't been able to produce at that same level. And that's been the huge difference in the series for me. And even though, I picked Florida to win, it's a little bit disappointing that we may potentially see a couple sweeps in the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals, which would be very It would just be disappointing for a fan because it means the season ends earlier than everyone wanted to, and then now we're at the point where it's just no games besides baseball for a couple months. So it's kind of just disappointing to see the way. It's hard to say because Dallas put up a fight in Game 3, Edmonton put up a fight tonight, but if they can't win these and these are sweeps, they weren't ever really much of fights.
Mm-hmm.
So it's disappointing. But Florida, like I said, Edmonton was probably best match for them, at least speed, just because McDavid alone is like the fastest skater on the planet. And Florida hasn't really controlled the time of possession all that much, really, especially this game and in Game 1. Game 1 was all Edmonton, but they got shut out. So Game 2 is mostly Florida. So we've seen Edmonton control the puck, but whether it's just been bounces or just not getting good shots off in Florida, just capitalizing on their opportunities more. Edmonton faces a 3-0 hole that, probably won't come out of. And to Florida, it's just been a credit. They've been grindy all postseason run. They can look like crap for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even a full period and still, only have the score be tied or them winning by 1. It's just been that kind of playoffs for Florida.
Yep. Definitely. I agree. I was calling the Rangers the team of destiny, but maybe it's these Florida Panthers where no matter how they play, they're going to come out on the winning side. And there's nothing you can do about that if you're the Oilers or anybody playing them. So it's too bad to say if you're anybody who's a Panthers fan.
I think it's not to discredit you. I think the team of destiny thing, it's always like the team that's on a great story or they're the pretty team that scores the pretty goals. Florida's kind of the team that just beats you up, roughs you up, and isn't very attractive, but just find a way to win the ugly games. They don't win pretty games. They're not going to score 7 goals. And the team that reminds me of that was the 2021-2022 Florida Panthers with Huberdeau, where they would score the pretty goals, have a lot of points, a lot of goals, but then they got swept by the Lightning because they weren't ready for that playoff hockey atmosphere. So this team, it's the Stanley Cup champion that's willing to do the dirty things that will ultimately prevail. It seems like every year that they school the Knights, just like teams that are scrappy, the Lightning, they never played the prettiest hockey. They would fight, rough you up, Victor Hedman. It's just kind of that way for the Stanley Cup champions.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida has all the tasks. They have the skill, the grit, the toughness, the coaching, the goaltending, the everything. And, we don't want to, say, what does this mean, for next year or where does this Florida team rank all time? Because we still got a series on our hands. But boy, for Edmonton, at this point, just try and win 1. Just don't get swept.
Right. Yeah. And it's
one game at a time.
It doesn't look like this Florida team's going to go away. I know they have a few free agents coming up. And I know Bobrovsky's older in age, but that core is they're pretty young. Kachuk's still pretty young. Barkov's
even if Reinhart leaves, you still have Kachuk, Barkov.
Yeah. I believe. They turn guys into goal scorers.
That's the thing.
Sam Reinhart before this year, I don't think scored 50 goals in a year. So
no,
all of a sudden he
maybe not even
7 goals this year. So I'm sure they could find some, middle of the pack free agent, and that just with how much insane talent they have with Kachuk and all those guys, they can turn those guys into goal scorers. So I'm not too worried about that if they lose Reinhart, just because they have that incredible core. And Paul Maurice has done an incredible job with them. And their GM,
Reinhart went from
Bill Zito.
33.
Yeah.
Reinhart went from 33 to 31 to his third year breaking out with 57 goals. So that might just be the Florida system too. So once again, though, huge credit to Florida. Big dubs. They now lead 3-0. Edmonton has one more home game at least left. So we'll see. The crowd was ready, but unfortunately, the Oilers dug themselves too deep of a hole, down 4-1 to come out of this. But with that being said, I believe the next game is Saturday, Game 4.
It should be tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll confirm Game 4, ABC, 8 o'clock start. So we'll be here, whether that be Monday to recap it or be hopefully previewing at least one more, because even though I picked Florida, still want to see some more hockey left before it's officially over. With that being said, thank you guys for listening to our Game 3 NHL recap of the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida leads the series 3-0 now. And make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.